Together I will sing of his love. He has wondrously saved me by his redeeming love. I'm singing hallelujah, washed by the blood of the Lamb. I'm singing hallelujah, his son forever I am. He has chosen a people for his beautiful bride. From the ones he has chosen from all of Jacob's tribes. I'm singing hallelujah, washed by the blood of the Lamb. I'm singing hallelujah, this time forever I am. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Dan, Asher, Naphtali, Zebulun, Benjamin, Gad. I'm singing hallelujah, washed by the blood of the Lamb. I'm singing hallelujah, this song forever I am.
Hey, page 9. Is this on the computer?
Yes, 9 is on the computer. The first 20 are in the computer.
The strange tale of
Yeah, it sounded.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We're having technical difficulties. I don't know how long the battery will hold it, because apparently, the battery's too dead.
No battery.
Battery too dead.
a strange tale, a riddle, a rhyme, a song sung by Yahweh, and has come to come. Search for an answer, hunger to know. So ask about Israel, where did she go? Oh, where did he hide her? Where does he keep her? When did millions and millions forget? Soon he'll uncover, the world will discover. Israel, Israel, you're here. All the stars in heaven, the sand by the sea. Then you'll know the number of Abraham's seed. A promise of safety, I live second by. You'll ask about Israel, where do you hide? Oh, where did he hide her? Where does he keep her? When did millions and millions forget? Soon will uncover, the world will discover. Israel, Israel, right here.
Right. Father Yahweh, thank you for allowing us to gather together on your Sabbath day. Thank you for everything you've done for us throughout the week. Father, we ask that you visit with us. Send your spirit. Open our eyes, open our minds that we may understand your truth, see your truth. Father, give us the strength to walk in your footsteps, because all of this is by your power. There's no good in us. Father, we give thanks and ask all of this in Yeshua's name. Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. All right.
So far, so good.
I forgot my notebook today, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but I think I remember everything I'm supposed to cover. The prayer and praises board up here. Put your stuff up there. If you're not getting the email, see, BB. If you want to read Torah, put your name up there. Be Caitlin.
Or get drafted.
And or get drafted. Yeah, that happens on occasion too. And cell phones, if you have those.
When you think of the big scheme of things, it's not often.
Yeah. Yeah, silent cell phones if you got them. And new moon. Well, hopefully it'll be on Shabbat, but I don't know because it's one of those 1%er thingies. And if it shows, it shows. If it don't, then it'll be the next day. But
So what day?
anyway, that is Shabbat. That would be the 6th of July.
Okay.
So Shabbat next.
Okay. And that's on, it is going to be on the Saturday, you think?
Yeah, I don't
No man knows.
I don't do this stuff. So
Yeah.
I could get real technical with this and go check
Well,
out,
we
and
will
I haven't.
probably do something special the next day here in this house. My baby brother's coming with his wife and his sister and her husband and the babies, because they've always come for the 4th of July.
Oh, okay, cool.
For so many years, I can't remember.
That's right.
But
We do
now,
have.
Because John gets to come home, Sunday from 8 to 3. They're going to be here at that time so they can visit with him. So we're going to do something. So if everybody wants to, if you don't see it, come join us the next day.
Then we'll see if we see it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Okay.
to meet John, so
That's
I'll try
cool.
to be there.
So we'll
He's worth
we
it.
can do that. Yeah. So sounds good. Yeah, I forgot we got the 4th of July this week, or whatever that means anymore. Anyway, and anything else from the floor? I think that's it. Caitlin, you reading?
Yes.
All right.
Faithful. That's the word that comes to.
Sticky toes out of your shoe, Charlie.
Good afternoon. We will be starting in Numbers 13:1 through 15:41. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Send men that they may spy out the land of Canaan, which I give to the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers ye shall send a man, every one a prince among them." And Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the commandment of Yahweh, all of them men who were heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shammua the son of Zakur; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori; of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Yefuneh; of the tribe of Issachar, Igal the son of Joseph; of the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Nun; of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi. Of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi. Of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gemalli. Of the tribe of Asher, Setur the son of Michal. Of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi the son of Wolfsi. Of the tribe of Gad, Geuel the son of Maki. These are the names of the men that Moses sent to spy out the land. It's called Hoshea the son of Nun, Joshua. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, Go up this way by the south, and go up into the hill country, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell in it, whether they are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it is good or bad, and what cities they are that they dwell in, whether in camps or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it is fat or lean, whether there is or not, and be of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob to the entrance of Chamath. And they went up by the south and came to Hebron, and Achiman, Shesai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were there. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came to the valley of Eshcol, and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bore it upon a staff between two. They brought also of the pomegranates and of the figs. That place was called the valley of Eshcol, because of the cluster which the children of Israel cut down from there. And they returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron, and to all the congregation of the children of Israel, to the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word to them, and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, We came to the land where you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. However, the people that dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. Amalek dwells in the land of the south, and the Hittite and the Jebusite and the Amorite dwell in the hill country, and the Canaanite dwells by the sea, and along by the side of the Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses, and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had spied out to the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that eats up the inhabitants of it. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come of the Nephilim. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, If only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in this wilderness. And why does Yahweh bring us to this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will be a prey. Would it not be better for us to return to Egypt? And they said to one another, Let us make a captain, and let us return to Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were of them that spied out the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to spy it out is an exceedingly good land. If Yahweh delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only rebel not against Yahweh, neither fear the people of the land. For they are bread for us, their defense is removed from over them, and Yahweh is with us. Fear them not. But all the congregation said to stone them with stones. And the glory of Yahweh appeared in the tent of meeting to all the children of Israel. And Yahweh said to Moses, how long will this people despise me? And how long will they not believe in me? For all the signs which I have wrought among them, I will strike them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they. And Moses said to Yahweh, then the Egyptians will hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land. They have heard that you, Yahweh, are with these people, for you, Yahweh, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now if you shall kill this people as one man, then the nations will have heard of the fame of you, will speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore to them, therefore he has killed them in the wilderness. And now, I pray you, let the power of the sovereign be great, according as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is slow to anger and abundant in mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children on the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I pray you, the iniquity of this people, according to the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. And Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to your word. Nevertheless, as surely as I live, and as surely as all the earth will be filled with the glory of Yahweh, because all those men that have seen my glory and my signs, which I wrought in Egypt and in the wilderness, yet have tempted me these 10 times, and have not listened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swore to their fathers, neither shall any of them that despised me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land in which he went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekite and the Canaanite dwell in the valley. Tomorrow turn and go into the wilderness by the way to the Red Sea. And Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation that murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say to them, as I live, says Yahweh, surely as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. Your dead bodies shall fall in the wilderness. And all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, that have murmured against me, surely you shall not come into the land concerning which I swore that I would make you dwell in it, except for Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, that you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have rejected. But as for you, your dead bodies shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall be wanderers in the wilderness 40 years, and shall bear your whoredoms, until your dead bodies be consumed in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which you spied out the land, even 40 days, for every day a year, shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my alienation. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Surely this will I do to all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, who returned, and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up an evil report against the land, even those men that brought up an evil report of the land, died by the plague before Yahweh. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh remained alive of those men that went to spy out the land. And Moses told these words unto all the people of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. And they rose up early in the morning and went up to the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we are here, and will go up to the place which Yahweh has promised, for we have sinned. And Moses said, Why do you transgress the commandment of Yahweh, seeing it shall not prosper? Go not up, for Yahweh is not among you, that you be not struck down before your enemies. For there the Amalekite and the Canaanite are before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned back from following Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh will not be with you. But they presumed to go up to the top of the mountain. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh and Moses departed not out of the camp. Then the Amalekite came down, and the Canaanite who dwelt in that mountain, and attacked them and beat them down, even to Hormah. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you have come into the land of your habitations, which I give to you, and will make an offering by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering or a sacrifice, to accomplish a vow, or as a free will offering, or in your set feasts, to make a sweet savor to Yahweh, of the herd or of the flock, then shall he that offers his oblation offer to Yahweh a meal offering of a 10th part of an ephah of fine flour, mingled with the 4th part of a hin of oil, and wine for the drink offering, the 4th part of a hin shall ye prepare with the burnt offering, or for the sacrifice for each lamb. Or for a ram ye shall prepare for a meal offering 2/10 parts of an ephah of fine flour, mingled with the 3rd part of a hin of oil. And for the drink offering you shall offer the 3rd part of a hin of wine, of a sweet savor to Yahweh. And when ye prepare a bullock for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice to accomplish a vow, or for peace offerings to Yahweh, then shall he offer with the bullock a meal offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mingled with half a hin of oil. And ye shall offer for the drink offering half a hin of wine, for an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to Yahweh. In this manner shall it be done for each bullock, or for each ram, or for each of the he lambs, or for the kids. According to the number that ye shall prepare, so shall you do to every one according to their number. All that are homeborn shall do these things after this manner, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to Yahweh. And if a stranger sojourns with you, or whoever may be among you throughout your generations, and will offer an offering made by fire of a sweet savor to Yahweh, as you do, so he shall do. For the assembly there shall be one statute for you, and for the stranger that sojourns with you, a statute forever throughout your generations. As you are, so shall the sojourner be before Yahweh. One law and one ordinance shall be for you, and for the stranger that sojourns with you. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land where I bring you, then it shall be that when you eat of the bread of the land, you shall offer up a heave offering to Yahweh. Of the first of your dough you shall offer up a cake for a heave offering. As a heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall you heave it. Of the first of your dough you shall give to Yahweh a heave offering throughout your generations. And when you shall err and not observe all these commandments, which Yahweh has spoken to Moses, even all that Yahweh has commanded you by Moses, from the day that Yahweh gave commandment, and onward throughout your generations, then it shall be, if it be done in error, without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer one young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor to Yahweh, with the meal offering of it and the drink offering of it, according to the ordinance, and one he-goat for a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and they shall be forgiven. For it was an error, and they have brought their oblation, an offering made by fire to Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their error. And all the congregation of the children of Israel shall be forgiven, and the stranger that sojourns among them, for in respect of all the people it was done in ignorance. And if one person sins through error, then he shall offer a she-goat a year old for a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for the soul that erred, when he sins through error before Yahweh, to make atonement for him, and he shall be forgiven. You shall have one law for him that does anything in error, for him that is homeborn among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourns among them. But the soul that does anything with a high hand, whether he is homeborn or a sojourner, the same blasphemes Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of Yahweh, and has broken his commandment. That soul shall utterly be cut off, his iniquity shall be upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it had not been decided what should be done to him. And Yahweh said to Moses, The man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside the camp. And all the congregation brought him outside the camp, and stoned him to death with stones, as Yahweh commanded Moses. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them that they shall make fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put on the fringe of each border a cord of blue. And it shall be to you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahweh, and do them. And that ye follow not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to play the harlot, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy to your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Now,
You understand why? We need to understand why that happened. Because you didn't have to do it much. Think about it. You had to pick up a rock and you had to throw it at another human being, and they had to watch that till he was dead. I guarantee you they didn't have to do it much.
that's true. Next, we're in the book of Joshua, or Joshua, chapter 2, 1 through 24. And Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out of Shittim 2 men as spies secretly, saying, Go, look over the land and Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a harlot, whose name was Rahab, and stayed there. And it was told to the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, men came in here tonight of the children of Israel to search out the land. And the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that have come to you, that have entered into your house, for they have come to search out all the land. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them. And she said, Yes, the men came to me, but I knew not where they came from. And it came to pass about the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Where the men went, I do not know. Pursue them quickly, for you will overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof, and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order on the roof. And the men pursued them the way to the Jordan, to the fords. And as soon as they that pursued them had gone out, they shut the gates. And before they had lain down, she came up to them on the roof. And she said to the men, I know that Yahweh has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away before you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites that were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and to Og, whom you utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard it, our hearts melted, neither did any more spirit remain in any man because of you. For Yahweh, your Elohim, he is Elohim in heaven above and on earth beneath. Now therefore, I pray you, swear to me by Yahweh, since I have dealt kindly with you, that you also will deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a true token, and that you will save alive my father, and my mother, and my brethren, and my sisters, and all that they have, and will deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, Our life for yours, if you do not tell our business. And it shall be, when Yahweh gives us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with you. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the side of the wall, and she dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, Go to the mountain, lest the pursuers come upon you, and hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers return, and afterwards you may go your way. And the men said to her, We will be guiltless of your oath, which you have made us to swear. Behold, when we come into the land, you shall bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which you let us down by. And ye shall gather to you into the house your father and your mother, and all your brethren, and all your father's household. And it shall be that whoever shall go out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we shall be guiltless. And whoever shall be with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. But if you tell our business, then we shall be guiltless of your oath, which you have made us to swear. And she said, According to your words, so be it. And she sent them away, and they departed, and she bound the scarlet line in the window. And they went and came to the mountain, and remained there 3 days, until the pursuers had returned. And the pursuers searched all the way, but did not find them. Then the 2 men returned, and descended from the mountain, and passed over, and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and they told him all that had happened to them. And they said to Joshua, Truly Yahweh has delivered into our hands all the land, and moreover, all the inhabitants of the land melt away before us. Let's see. Last, we are in Hebrews 3:7 through 4:1. Therefore, even as the Holy Spirit says, Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts as in the provocation, like as in the day of the trial in the wilderness, where your fathers tried me by proving me, and saw my works 40 years. Therefore I was displeased with this generation, and said, They do always err in their hearts, but they did not know my ways. As I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there shall be in any one of you an evil heart of unbelief, and falling away from the living Elohim. But exhort one another day by day, so long as it is called today, lest any one of you be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partakers of the Messiah, if we hold fast the beginning of our confidence firm to the end. While it is said, Today, if you shall hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. For who, when they heard, did provoke? No, did not all they that came out of Egypt by Moses? And with whom was he displeased 40 years? Was it not with them that sinned, whose bodies fell in the wilderness? And to him swore he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that were disobedient. And we see that they were not able to enter in because of unbelief. Let us fear, therefore, lest by chance, a promise being left of entering into his rest, any one of you should seem to have come short of it. And that concludes the readings for today.
Okay, but now Kim's gonna give us a testimony. Just let her fix the mic on her so we can hear her.
Yeah.
I'm a joke.
Yes.
There's a James Myers that posted here. I love you all, Kenyon and Joellen. You both priceless. Bless you all, Ellen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, I don't know how to do all this stuff, okay? But I really want to share this with you. I want to share this with you. It'll be 3 years in September that my husband passed, okay? It was a Friday. Well, prior to that, he had a brain shunt in his head, and it worked for a while, and then it started to not be doing too well. I got COVID. Couldn't take care of him because he as well got COVID. They took him to the hospital. They transferred him to, I can't think of the name. Yeah, no. There's one. No. There's one on Jinx Avenue, a nursing, or a place up there, a nursing home place. Okay. So he was there, and they wouldn't let me come see him because, of course, I had COVID and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I got to bring him home eventually, after a couple weeks, I think. But I brought him home, and I had to sleep in one room because he couldn't get on our bed. So he slept in the other room, and I listened for him, and I heard him fall one night, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "No." So I ran down there, and he had his walker with the wheels on. He had got it stuck in the door frame of the bedroom, and he had fallen forward, but he was stuck on there. He was stuck in there. So I didn't know what to do. So we got his walker. No, he had fallen into this plastic little drawer thing, and but I mean, it just scraped his head. It had blood on it, but not blood like it didn't lacerate him. It just scraped his head. So I got him. I don't know how I lifted this thing out of there, but I did. It was probably, it was heavy, but I just lifted it up and put it out of the way. And then we got him laid down, and I called the fire department because they had come before and helped me pick him up when he had fallen before. And so they knew who we were. But so anyway, they got him up, and he had begged me when he came home from the nursing home, "Please don't ever send me there again. Don't ever send me back to the hospital. Please don't ever do that." Because he was in really bad shape when he came home from the nursing home. Really, really horrible. I can't even describe that to you right now. Anyway, I came home this one Friday. It was maybe a week later but I always came. I work in
About 10 days.
I work up in Southport on Fridays. I was working in Southport on Fridays, and then I'd come home and check on him, and then I'd come to Joe's house. Well, I came home that day to check on him, and he was like, he had therapy that morning, and he did a really good job. But anyways, I came home, and he's like complaining really bad. He said, my legs are really hurting me. I said, "Well, you got a Charlie horse or something or what?" Because he really didn't usually complain, And so I said, "Well, want me to help you walk?" "No," he screamed at me, right? He never was agitated. He was not an agitated kind of person. He was a very, very loving person. And so I'm like, okay, so what do I do? So I gave him medication and everything. And he threw up, and then he started slurring his words, and he went to sleep, and he never woke back up. He was sitting in the chair and chewing, and my girlfriend and I were saying to him, "Is it good what you're eating?" and everything. We tried to take his shirt off because he had it was just medicine throw up that he had on him. But he wouldn't let us take his shirt off. So He sat in the chair and we were watching him, and I had to call my neighbor and have him come help me pull him back up in his recliner because I didn't want him to fall down onto the floor. His blood pressure started going crazy, so I called the ambulance, and they came and they took him to the hospital. He wouldn't wake up. And I told him when they took him, I said, I know I promised that I wouldn't do this to you, but you won't wake up and I don't know what to do. So they took him and they just said, just wait here because there's nothing you can do. There's nothing that you can do. Just stay here and we'll call you. They called and told me that he had a brain bleed on both sides of his brain.
And they were going to air fly him.
And they were going to fly him to Gainesville where he had his brain surgery. And so they did. Okay, so I came and Miss Jill gave me her car the next morning, and me and Abby proceeded to drive to Gainesville. In Lake City, we pulled in the back so Abby could go potty, and I got back in the car, and it wouldn't drive. Something was wrong. So I pulled around to the front, and I asked for help from everybody, and nobody would help me really. You know, everybody was like, oh, you know, nobody's going to help you these days. They just don't. Nobody helps anybody anymore. But finally, I was like getting to my wit's end. I had talked to Joe, and she was trying to figure something out. And all of a sudden, there was a guy, and his son they had a big black, I think it was a black German Shepherd dog. And the son, who was an adult son, was playing with the dog, you know, exercising and let him play for a minute, get out of the car or the van. And the guy asked me, he said, what's wrong? I said, well, I think if there's a belt, you know, somebody told me there was a broken alternator belt. I said, I'm on the way to Gainesville. My husband's dying. You know, he's having brain surgery as we speak. And I said, I have no way to get there. And he told his son, he went and told his son, he said, come here. He said, go get all that lady's stuff out of her car. He said, we're going to take her to Gainesville. So they did. And on the way there, the son made all kinds of phone calls to try and find me because it happened to be like a big football day. You know, Gainesville, the hospital there is all related to the football. And so there was a big game. And he got me a hotel room right in the parking lot of the hospital. It was a brand new hotel. I mean, it was a little expensive, but it didn't matter at that point. But on the way there, I called Joe, and she spoke to the man. And the man told her what was wrong with the car, and she said,
where it was.
She said, yeah, we had put the key on the tire.
Down to the mile marker.
And so she talked to him, and she was comfortable with this man. Okay. It was like we'd known him forever. That I never was afraid to go with these two guys. That was the least of my thoughts. Okay. I was not worried one bit. My sister was cussing me out, saying, you know, he could kill you and everything. I'm like, at that point, it didn't matter. It didn't matter if I was dead. It really didn't matter to me. But the whole story is, okay, I went down there and all, but Ms. Joe told me when I came home, she said, Kim, do you know that those guys were angels? Because they didn't have to do that. They had been working in New Orleans doing some kind of hurricane cleanup or something of that nature. They were headed to Ocala, okay? And they stopped what they were doing. They had been working, you know, and it's not easy cleaning up after hurricanes. We all know that, okay? Abby does not like other dogs. There's a big black dog in the back seat. I gave her a bone and everything. She didn't care one bit. She didn't growl at that dog or anything. Okay, not one whimper. And she is not, we all know that Abby can be a real bitch, excuse me, to other animals. I never thought about that really till as I'm speaking right now, that she never bothered with that dog. It was perfectly fine with her. So that dog knew that these were special people, you know. I didn't realize this. I did thank him. I tried to pay him. He wouldn't take any money. I I bought him some beer, and he wouldn't take anything from me. And I said, please, 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 you did this, because I had no way to get there. And, as you all know, that he did, they did surgery, and the brain bleed started back again. So there was nothing to do to save him. So they called me. Abby and I had just gotten there, and we called, and they said that he was in surgery. They would call us back. So I took her across the street to Steak and Shake, and we ate, went back to the hotel room, and we ate. And about right when I was laying my head down, they called me and said, they work in groups there at that hospital. They're, not just one doctor takes care of you. They're groups of doctors. And they told me that they had done, yes, I'm so-and-so, and okay, I'm with this group. Yes, sir. I've already spoken with someone. They said there was nothing that could be done tonight. He had surgery, and he was resting or whatever. He said, well, we have a problem because he started to bleed again. And so you have a choice. We can either cut into his brain and make room for the swelling, or we can make him as comfortable as possible. I lost it. Okay. I called her. I called my sister. I called my mom, not my mom, but I called and talked to my friends and everybody. And I said, what? Yes, I'm right here. I'm right here, baby. What do I do? When they're saying they're going to just make him comfortable, that means that they're just going to let him die, So it was very tragic. But when I came home and I talked to Joellen, she told me that she had realized that those gentlemen were angels. And, unless you experience something like that, just any Tom, Dick, and Harry wouldn't just stop. But there was lots of people I spoke with, but nobody offered to help. And it was just a broken alternator belt, But those guys took me all the way there, made sure I had a hotel room and everything. Unloaded my stuff, loaded and unloaded my stuff and everything. And they were angels. I wanted to share that with you. I've been wanting to share that with you for a long time. I think I finally got to the point where I could do that. But I wanted you guys to hear my story and know that there's really angels all around us. And we just don't see them. We don't know until something like that happens, I guess. But anyways, I love y'all, and thank you so much.
I've been working on this one a long time.
Yeah.
I met her now. Next year will be 10 years that she's been by my side.
Yep.
Don't know what I would have done without her.
And I love her so much. I would do anything for her. I love her more than anything. She's like my mom, even though we're close in age, but she's like a mommy to me. Anytime I have a problem, I can call her. And she might tell me something I don't want to hear, but that's okay, because that's what I called her for her advice. Well, whether I like her advice or I take her advice is one thing, but most times she's right. She knows what's going on. She knows what time of day it is. She's very, very into Yahweh. And so he tells her things, how to take care of people.
Well,
and you guys know that.
He actually showed me Wes.
Yes. I forgot to tell you that. We were here for a new moon or something.
The year before, he was sitting on that sofa in there in the kitchen, the one by the kitchen. And I went in there, and he looked like he was just exhausted. And I said, well, sugar, what's wrong with you? He said, I'm just so tired, Joelle, and I'm just really tired. And he laid his head back on that sofa now.
She knew he was going to die.
And I told her, I said, I want you to start getting prepared, because Yahweh's going to take you.
She knew. Yep. He let her know that he was going to come get him. And he did. But of course, I didn't want to hear that.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to hear that. Who wants to hear that? And I was really mean to him a lot before he passed away, because I didn't know he was as sick as he was. I had no idea. But yes, I have guilt, lots of guilt. But there's nothing I can do to change it. He knows that I love him, and he knows that I didn't mean whatever, transpired. But
For him, she was the love of his life.
yeah, he loved me. He loved me. I went through the drug thing and all that stuff. I used to drink like a 12-pack of beer a day. Okay, I mean, I used to do drugs, you know, everything. And he knew it. But do you think he would get mad at me sometimes when we didn't have no money, or, you know, or he'd come in from fishing and I owed money and all that kind of great stuff. But he dealt with it. You know, he was really a good man. And then in the very end, I wasn't there for him like I should have been. But there's nothing you guys just always remember. And I know you guys probably already know, but just always remember that person next to you might not be there tomorrow, because we're not promised tomorrow. So just keep that in mind anytime you get mad at your significant other or family or whatever it may be. Okay? But there are angels that'll be out there helping us when you least expect it. Thank you, guys.
They can even diagnose, tell you what's wrong with it, tell you what.
Get your mic.
Yeah, my
Pardon me?
brother lives in Lake
Oh, I
City.
don't know how to do
And so I sent him to the mile marker. And I said, this is what the dude said. The dude said that the air conditioner froze up. You'll have to get the other kind of pulley. Put it in, put a new belt on it. You'll be
Okay, I just can't see it.
And sure enough, that's what it was.
I don't know turn this off or anything, so I'm just going to set it right there.
Thank you very much, darling.
Okay, thank you guys very much for listening. Where's my dog with her shoes? Come on. Come on.
Okay. All right. Isaiah 53. Who has believed our report? And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of the dry ground. He has no form, no comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. What does Yahweh say? In many cases, we look to man first for answers before we ask of Yahweh. Yahweh tells us he will supply every need that we have. In Philippians 4:19, but my Elohim shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Messiah Yeshua. Notice that Yahweh has obligated himself only to the extent of our needs. That would include food and clothing and shelter and companionship and love and salvation through Yeshua Messiah. It would not include the luxuries that we have come to think of as needs. Yahweh states that his grace is sufficient for us in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Messiah may rest upon me. Sufficient. is defined as this: an amount of something that is enough for a particular purpose. Yeshua's grace is the right amount to cover all of my needs or my weaknesses. Yahweh proclaims that his children will not be overtaken with temptations. Instead, he assures us that a way of escape will be provided. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, there has no temptation taken you but such as is common to man, but Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. Jude in chapter 1, verse 24. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. Darius, king of the Medes, said to Daniel in Daniel 6, verse 16, then the king commanded that they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spoke and said unto Daniel, thy Elohim, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. He did deliver Daniel from the den of the lions. The same Elohim that delivered Daniel is the same Elohim that is in our midst today. Yahweh tells us that all things work together for good to those who love and serve him faithfully. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh, to them who are the called according to his purpose. It may be difficult for us to see and understand how this is accomplished at times, but Yahweh has promised it. He will deliver. If he said it, he will do it. And if he spoke it, he will bring it to pass. Our Elohim will not fail you. Lamentations 3:22. It is of Yahweh's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. His compassions, they fail not. Great is your faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Do you need to get somewhere? Yahweh can part the waters for you. Are you on your way to the lion's den? Yahweh can shut the lion's mouth for you. Are your spiritual batteries about dead? Yahweh can revive you again. Yahweh states that those who believe in Yeshua for the forgiveness of sin will be saved. There is no other way into his kingdom but through Yeshua. Repent and be baptized in the name of Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Any other teaching or religion that does not recognize Yeshua as the Savior of humanity, that religion is a false religion, period. One of the many problems with our generation is that we have stopped preaching his death at the stake and the conviction of sin to try to cater to everyone and get numbers. I would much rather minister to 20 who believe the Bible as Yahweh's word than the 500 lukewarm attenders. There are ministers that say that his goal is to make everyone feel comfortable. It's time for the churches in America to stop being places of entertainment and start being places of deliverance. I wonder what would happen if these mega churches, if John the Baptist came back to be their senior pastor. Yahweh proclaims that we have victory over death. He first resurrected Yeshua by way of assuring our resurrection. And Peter said in Acts 2, verse 32, this Yeshua has Yahweh raised up, whereof we are all witnesses. In 1 Corinthians 15:3, for I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Messiah died for our sins according to the scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to scriptures. And later on, he adds in 1 Corinthians 15:57, but thanks be to Elohim, which given us the victory through our Master Yeshua Messiah. When he can view death the way Messiah sees death, death is a victorious event. Death is the promotion process to our eternal state. Every day that goes by, my hunger for his kingdom grows stronger. There's nothing here to be desired. Look at our government. Look at the other governments. There's only one government that I know of that I want to be in. Have you seen the arm of Yahweh? Jeremiah 32:17. Our Master Yahweh, behold, thou hast made the heavens and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm. There is nothing too hard for you. We need to begin to start speaking with our mouth that there is nothing too hard for Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Has the arm of Yahweh been revealed to you? If it has, never allow the enemy to silence your testimony of Yahweh's faithfulness. Isaiah 59:1, behold, Yahweh's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. There are no shortages with Yahweh. Another promise that Yeshua gives us is that his ear is always open to my cry. A powerful scripture about how Yahweh values our prayer is found in Revelation. In Revelation 8:3, and another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. He bore our griefs and carried our sorrows. Isaiah has a view how the Messiah took our pain upon himself. He made our griefs his own and our sorrows as if they were his. In Isaiah 53:3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow, acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not. The image is that he loaded them up and carried them on his back so that we wouldn't have to. How many people carry around pain? How many people carry around griefs and sorrows that Yeshua really carried for them? He took them from us, but for it to do us any good, we must release them to Yeshua Messiah. Everything that we may ever need in life was covered with Messiah's anointment. By his stripes, we're healed. I'm told there are 39 major categories in the medical profession that claim every single disease known to man around the entire world, from the common cold all the way to HIV. So you see, Yeshua took a stripe for whatever has been or will be wrong with you. And by his stripes, you are healed. John chapter 9:1. And Yeshua passed by, and he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Yeshua answered, neither has this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Yahweh would be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he has thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said unto him, go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind said, "Is not this he that sat and begged?" Some said, "This is he." Others said, "It looks like him." And then he said, "I am he." Therefore said they unto him, "How were thy eyes opened?" He answered and said, "A man that is called Yeshua made clay, anointed my eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool Siloam and wash. I went and I washed, and I received sight." There's something in all of us that would like to have the ability and the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life. Reality shows like Three Wishes, Extreme Makeover, Home Edition brings out the best in people, and in a human kind of way perform miracles. These miracles are not true miracles, but they're amazing and wonderful. A true miracle is a marvelous event, manifesting a supernatural act of Yahweh. I love the fact that I'm a member of this church that believes in miracles. We believe that Yahweh's supernatural power is still available for people in need. Most of us would like miracles to take place in our lives. But if you are like me, you don't want to be in a place to need a miracle. Nobody wants to be in need. We don't want to have to go through a situation where answers are not known and solutions are not evident. But there will come a time when you will find yourself in a place of need. The question at that point will be, where do you turn for help? Or how do you find the answers that you need? I want to talk to you about a miracle worker named Yeshua, the son of Yahweh. His story is told in the New Testament section of the Bible. The first 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, is called the Gospels. They describe his life and his work. Matthew 21, verse 22, "And all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing you shall receive." If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. It's my goal to help you to come to the place where you can honestly say, "I believe." Some of you are like the man whose son was hurting. Yeshua said to him in Mark 9, verse 23, Yeshua said unto him, "If thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believes." And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Master, I believe. Help thou my disbelief, my unbelief." Anything is possible if a person believes. The father instantly replies, "I do believe, but help me not to doubt." I cannot tell you how many times I prayed a similar prayer. Yahweh, I know that you are able to do this, but will you do it for me? Will you answer my prayer? Well, anything is possible if a person believes. What if I have some doubts? You're normal. We all struggle with periods of doubt. If you have never doubted anything, it may mean that you have never thought seriously about anything. The only way to never doubt is to never use your mind to question and try to figure anything out. Doubting does not mean that your faith stops. It means that you are trying to understand your faith at a deeper level. Honest doubt means that we are thinking and seeking to understand. Maybe that's why you are here today. You're investigating his word, the Bible. You have your doubts, but those doubts are making you want to know more about Yahweh and experience him in new ways. I want to focus on a story of the book of John, chapter 9, that I just read. This story is somewhat perplexing. It's a story about a man who was born blind. Yeshua and his disciples ran into him one day in Jerusalem. Immediately, his disciples asked, "Why? Why is this man blind? Was it the fault of his parents?" John 9, verse 1, and Yeshua passed by and saw the man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Yeshua answered, neither has this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of Yahweh should be made manifest in him. I must work the work of him that sent me, while it is this day the night comes when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. It probably did not occur to the disciples this man was blind, not deaf. He could hear their conversations. Imagine you're sitting there blind. Your life is bad enough already, and you hear these theologians say, his sin? His parents' sin? What do you think? Have you ever felt like people were looking at you and saying, how did he get into this mess? What did he do? Is it his fault or someone else's fault? Yeshua responds by saying that this has happened not because of his sin or his parents' sin, but thus this happened so that Yahweh can be glorified. Now, I know it sounds deeply spiritual, but if you were that man, that doesn't sound all that exciting. It's like the blind man was saying, I'm blind so Yahweh can be glorified. Good for him. I'm glad I could go help out. I've made my contribution to the glory of Yahweh, but I want to see. Now, I know that sounds a little sacrilegious, but if you were blind your entire life and were confused about Yahweh, that thought would probably run through your mind. Then Yeshua goes into a teaching moment with his disciples, and he said, we are all chasing daylight. We live in a world, and we have to work in the world while it is light. We have to do those things that Yahweh has given us to do while we are here in this world. Night is coming when no one will work. Then it gets more confusing. Yeshua pauses, and he's going to heal the guy. There are places in the Bible where Yeshua heals people by touching them. In some places, he just speaks to them and says, be healed. But this time is different. Yeshua does something out of the ordinary. Are you willing for Yahweh to do something out of the ordinary in your life? Too many times we see how Yahweh has worked in someone else's life, and we say, I need your help, and I need you to help me like you did for my friend. I believe that Yahweh wants to help you, but you must allow him to work in his own way. He has a plan for your life. That plan will be different than he has for me or someone else. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Wow. He actually thought about me. He actually thought about you and you and you and you. And he's got thoughts of peace for us. For I know the plans I have for you, declares Yahweh. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Wow. Why? Why me? The question is, will you allow Yahweh to do something out of the box in your life? Before you say yes, let's take another look at this blind man story. John 9, verse 6. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground, and he made clay with the spit, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay. How much spit does it take to make mud? That's a lot of spit. I know what you're thinking, and you read today's passage. That's Yeshua spit. Spit is spit. This spit was from Elohim's human son. Yahweh did not spit outside of time and space. So Yeshua spat and made some mud, and then he goes towards the blind man. Can you imagine what the crowd was thinking? They were thinking, stop him, someone. In John 9, verse 6, having said this, he spat on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Yeshua takes the mud and places it on the guy's face. I know that when you read the Bible, and we read the Bible, and we tend to read it like we were Yeshua, or at least the disciples. But imagine if you were the blind guy. You hear people saying, why is he in this mess? Is this his fault or his parents? And then Yeshua takes spit and dirt and makes mud and puts it on your face. After Yeshua put the mud on his face, he says to the guy, in John 9, verse 7, go, he said to him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. He said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and he came seeing. I may not be the great theologian here, but think about it. The guy's blind. How is he supposed to get to the pool of Siloam? Even if he were not blind, he would have mud on his eyes and would not be able to see. Yeshua does not offer him any help. Do you ever feel that way? Have you ever felt like Yeshua called you to do something and then did not offer you any help? There are moments in my life where I feel like I am the blind guy, and people are talking about me, saying, what caused me to be in this mess? Is it my fault or my parents? Why is he so messed up? Why is his life like this? Then you hear that it all happened to glorify Yahweh. It's not very encouraging. Then you find yourself in a place where you feel like you got mud on your face. Have you ever been there before? You're trying to lead. You're trying to be effective. You're trying to rally people together. You're trying to build confidence and call people to an extraordinary life. And you just got spit and dirt kicked into your face. Then Yeshua said to the blind man, go to the pool of Siloam. Seems to me that at least Yeshua could have taken him there, or at least told one of his disciples to take him there. Yeshua said, go. And does not offer any help. And here's the point of today's talk. Notice this. John mentions that the word shalom means sent. What Yeshua is doing here is unwrapping a teaching for all of us. We all must go to that place where we are sent by Yahweh. We need to go to that place of obedience. We may be blind, with mud caked on our faces, stumbling through the streets, uncertain, confused, and terrified. But we have to go. There are some things that Yahweh does for us, but there are some things that Yahweh leaves for us to do. If this blind man wanted to see, he had to get to the pool of Siloam. But Yeshua was not going to help him get there. Have you ever been there? I have. Some of you have been called by Yahweh to do certain things, but it seems as though you have been left on the road to fend for yourself. Some of you feel as though you are moving through life with Yahweh's spit and mud covering your face. Doesn't make sense to you or the people around you. But down deep inside you, you have been commanded to go to a place called sent. All of us have mud on our faces, and we are called to go to the place called sent. It's a place of obedience. It's a place of direction. Some of you have been greatly gifted by Yahweh and you have great potential, but you may be headed in the wrong direction. Some of you might be spiritually blind. You're wandering around trying to find direction. Your eyes will not be open until you will be willing to go to the place of obedience. You have lived in disobedience long enough. Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Many people try to justify their lifestyles. They want to rationalize their choices. You must understand that your choices determine your destiny. Yeshua told this blind man to go to the pool of Shalom. Now, the pool of Shalom was built by King Hezekiah 700 years earlier. It had the purest and best tasting water in the whole city of Jerusalem. That's not why Yeshua sent him there. He sent him there because he wanted to know, will this man obey my exact instructions? Is he teachable? Is he open to the leading of the Spirit of Elohim in his life? Will he do what I tell him to do, even if it sounds far-fetched? The first step towards having a better life starts with a willingness to obey Messiah in all the little details of life. This man was willing, and so he washed, and he could see. John 9:7, and said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, this is he. Others said, he looks like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, how were thy eyes opened? And he answered and said, a man that is called Yeshua made clay, anointed my eyes, and said unto me, go to the pool of Shalom and wash. I went and washed, and I received sight. Many of you are here today, and you want Yahweh to move in your life. I believe in miracles. I believe that the Elohim of miracles is here today. The blind man told his neighbors, so I went, washed, and then I could see. Are you willing to do what Yahweh tells you to do? If you're willing to step out in faith, surrender to his plan, then you will have his work accomplished in your life. There's an interesting ending to this story. The blind man, who had never seen Yeshua, and since Yeshua did not go to the pool with him, he did not know what he looked like. Yeshua found him just after the religious interrogation. They interrogated the blind man for being able to see. John 9:35. Yeshua heard that they had cast him out. When he had found him, he said unto him, dost thou believe on the Son of Yahweh? He answered and said, who is he, Master, that I might believe on him? And Yeshua said unto him, thou hast both seen him, it is he that talks with you. And he said, Master, I believe. And he worshiped him. So, I've shared with you this story, Yeshua and his miracle working power. Do you believe? Yahweh bless. Richard. Let's go.
Coming a day when the heartache shall come. No more clouds in the sky. No more tears to dim the eye. All is peace forevermore. On that happy golden shore. What a day for the saints and for me. What a day that will be when the sun I shall see. When I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day, that will be. There will no sorrow there, no more burdens to bear, no more sins, no more pain, no more parting over there, and forever I will be with the one who died for me. What a day, glorious day, that will be. What a day that will be, when as true I shall see. When I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day, that will be.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and mercy and kindness for your people. We thank you for the word that you have given us to guide us through this world, this life. Father, we ask you to direct us to walk in the path that you would have us to walk. Take care of every need of your chosen ones. Guide and lead and direct them throughout this life. Father, we thank you for the food that we're about to receive, for the nourishment of our bodies, that it will strengthen us for your service. All this we ask in Yeshua's name. So be it. Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh.
I have a special prayer request.
Let us know when you